way, today, we're talking about apex humans in society, and why weakness will not be tolerated. As we move forward into this golden age, there's lots and lots of echoes that we've got to just push through. We'll get to the other side of this. I'm going through a big echo right now, a major, massive echo, generations worth of echo right now. And an echo is just when old patterns scream out before you move beyond them. So poverty, limitation, scarcity, all that other stuff. This is one of the things that I'm blasting through right now. And I have to stay focused and stay on the path and not get distracted by things that do not pertain to me. So if you're joining now, make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment below. I'm looking at a good amount, like a 10 to 12% consistency as far as likes from views. And I like that. So keep it up. Thank you. So today, like I said, we're talking about weakness today. We're talking about why weakness will not be tolerated. We're actually going to define what weakness is. And I'm speaking in reference to societies like Sparta and others like the Third Reich before it became the Nazis. They were actually aiming toward creating an idyllic society based on strength. And there's a lot of that rhetoric in the Trump administration that's frightening a lot of people. A lot of the excessively, irrationally compassionate types, like the progressives. And it frightens them because they think of concentration camps and death and all this stuff and genocide. Um, Genocide can potentially happen during this administration, potentially. I mean, not highly, it's not, I shouldn't say that. It's possible. It's not probable. And I won't use the word potential, but it is possible. Okay, it is possible. But I won't say that it's probable just because of our Constitution and the structure of the law in this nation. But it is possible, all right? But it will not delay a golden age. It will not, it will do nothing. It'll only accelerate the golden age that's unfolding. Because, anyway, it'll accelerate. So we're going to talk about it today. Sparta, Third Reich, these sorts of societies, they were not what we want to recreate. I want to make that very clear. We do not want to recreate Sparta. We do not want to put infants on the side of a hill and let them be eaten by wild animals. We don't want to recreate the Third Reich. See how quickly that went and became the Nazis, right? So we do not want to recreate these, but we do want to learn from them. There were things and values that they brought. The Third Reich under Hitler and those sorts of people actually helped to create national parks, and they promoted healthy eating and all these things in the early 20th century. Those were some of the positives. The downsides were obviously all the other things that occurred. So let's see who's in the chat real quick before we get into defining apex humans and actually what weakness is. All right. So there's a number person here saying welcome. They're 1789K. Hello. Alexandra Perrault. Hello. All right. And say hello to Shan Rana. Alexandra Perrault, welcome. Hello, hello. Shan Rana, welcome, welcome. Wonky B, how's your day? Day's going well. A lot of good breakthroughs so far. Maxwell James, hello to you. Hi. And S. Shan Rana, how are you? I am doing well, breaking through some things. Niha, welcome, Niha. Niha, is that Niha Anand? Because I used to know a Niha Anand. That was my doctor for a while. Anyway, she was great. All right, so we're talking about weakness and why it will not be tolerated and why it should not be tolerated. We should never tolerate weakness, ever in ourselves or in society. And if this frightens you, then again, this is probably not for you. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. It's something that adds to your day. Thank you for the love. Okay. Hey, your forehead, dude. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, I've got a big forehead. People with high intelligence tend to have large foreheads. So thank you for the compliment. All right. So apex humans defined. If you check out www.apexhumanity.org, you will find a good understanding of what an apex human is. We are moving into a golden age, and that will be done on the backs of apex humans. And so one of the major impediments that will hold us back are weak people. Now, there's a lot of misunderstanding of what a weak person is. In this video, I'm going to talk about weak people. And perhaps you are a strong, powerful person that is pretending to be weak. A tiny human! Look at that tiny human. Two tiny humans. These are parents with their kids. Kids are so adorable. I get distracted by them because they're so fucking adorable. I just want to bite their cheeks anyway. Weak people, a lot of you guys in the chat might be really strong, but you're pretending to be a weak person because that is something that society's encouraged you to do, and you're kind of going along with it. So I, in this video, am going to help you define what weakness is, what weak traits are, and help you to blast through them just by coming to an awareness of them. So let's define what weak people are. Weak people are worms, okay? Weak people are worms. And they are people that grovel, that beg life, and that accept and receive the scraps from God, and they're okay with that. They don't want for anything more than life than the shit that they're in. They're maggots, they're worms, and society has too many of them right now. And a lot of strong people, like those of you who love likes, are pretending to be weak. And I'm going to give you permission to no longer, mommy's kind of cute. I'm going to give you permission to no longer be a weak worm, okay? So there are 6 types of people that are worms, and sometimes these people overlap and they're, they kind of go hand in hand. So the first type are the stupid worms. They are non-thinkers. These are people that have a very hard time cogitating or thinking. I made that word up. But using their cognitive abilities is something that hurts them. They literally feel visceral discomfort when they have to think. Okay? These are the stupid worms, the non-thinkers. There's too many of them in society, and this is why society is in shambles. They don't need to reproduce. And if you are doing this, it's because you haven't been taught how to think. A lot of these weak people, by the way, can be completely eradicated just by changing their patterns. I used to be a weak person, and I changed my patterns, and the weak person that I was died, and who I am today is alive in his place. All right? Before we get into the second type of weak person, there are about 5 more to go. Let's jump in the chat. There's a lot of people talking here. Okay. All right. 2 symptoms of baldness. No, I've always had a big forehead. I've always been intelligent. All right. So Niha, okay. Scan Omitron. Watch out. He's behind you and he's watching. Oh no. I'm gonna get rid of you because you're so many people. Like, there's so many people that do that. Like, what do you think? Like, you're gonna get anyway. Maxwell James, Niha is weak. Worms. She probably is. I don't know. She doesn't understand that large foreheads represent people with, pretty big, well-developed prefrontal cortex. Anyway, Maxwell James, worms. Yeah. Char moron. Stop. Okay. Maxwell James. What drugs addict weak people? Yes, that's a good one. Thank you for that, Maxwell James. I like that, Maxwell James. I almost said James. Pardon me, Maxwell James. Good one. Drugs are a great example of weak-mindedness. We're going to actually put that as the 7th one. Druggies. Druggies. People that are addicted to drugs. And there are various types of drugs, by the way. The drugs that people put in their minds or snort at the nose or put up their butt or whatever, these are not the only types of drugs. Sometimes there's the opium of the masses. You go to church and the pastor screams, Jesus, Jesus, and you jump up and down and you feel good for Sunday, and then you go back to your shit life, and your life does not get better. God doesn't answer any of your prayers. Okay, that's a drug. So we'll get into that later on. Good one, Maxwell James. Great one. Is there a vaccine for it? There is a vaccine for stupidity. It's called life. Let life take you down the river. You'll experience the turbulence, but you stay in the flow. God will take you where you need to go. All right, Maxwell James, great one. Fentanyl, as one of the doctors. I used to work with in surgery, and fentanyl. There was a doctor from Brazil. He used to give fentanyl to the patients. He used to always say fentanyl. He was a funny little old guy. He was good, but he was a little heavy-handed on patients. I felt sorry for his patients anyway. Killer A498. How old, guy? No one here, Unc. There's enough people here for me to talk for a little bit. How old? I'm old enough, and older than I was yesterday, and younger than I'll be tomorrow. How about that? All right. Maxwell, yeah, fentanyl. Only me. Well, there's a couple other people, but thank you, Killer A498. Only 2 guys, Unc. I want fentanyl. It sounds fun. Fentanyl. All right. Well, look, this might not be for you, Killer. This is we're talking about weak people and how to identify them. Okay. So we're going to continue the discussion. So we talked about the non-thinker, stupid worms. The next are pansies. Pansies are weak people. These are people that have the ability to be stronger, but constantly outsource that strength to others. And so these are pansies. These are people that act weaker than they actually are. They know they have strength, but they pretend to be weak and stupid. And these are the other types of worms. And these are in society. And like I said, there's just too many of these people in society. And as these people get cleaned out by changing their personality, accepting the power that God has promised to all of us, becoming apex human, experiencing the awakening, society will quickly change, and it will become a powerful, beautiful, exceptional society. Okay? The next type, the third type, we're down to the third type, are the outsourcers. These are individuals that need outside validation. They need someone on the outside to tell them that they're okay, to tell them that they're good. You'll notice in my videos, I'll have 0 people watching and I still talk. I still put the video out because I do not need people in the chat, people in the conversation to continue to put this out there. I have beautiful videos that I put a lot of work into years ago and exceptional videos. And I still put the work in. I still did that. I don't need outside people. I just need to know that, am I doing what I need to do today to be the best person that I can be now? And if I'm doing that, and if tomorrow I die, then I know that I've done the very best that I can while I'm here. Okay. So the outsourcers, they look to other people for, it's like Killer A Mike seems like perhaps an outsourcer. This person seems like they might need outside validation. Is Coke good? Okay. Like, you look at all the people, look at their results, look at their outcomes. It's not something that serves them, right? So outsourcers need external validation. It's like, okay, you only have 2 people watching, so that must be something that we need to put attention on. No, I mean, yeah, only 2 people watching now, but I'm going to post this video, and it'll probably get a couple, couple views. Um, and the people that watch it, sorry, I'm picking my face. And the people that watch it then are going to get some benefit from it. And they'll demonstrate that by dropping a like. All right, so outsourcers are people that need external validation. Now, there is a saturation point for this, right? I mean, you can go through your life and imagine there are, things in the world that are not there and be the only, let's say that you believe something that's not true and you're the only person that believes it. If you don't get some external validation, you could go crazy. So there's kind of a saturation point for this. All right, there's a balance point. So you don't want to outsource all of your experience and get all of your validation from outsiders. But there is a certain point of validation where you do look to people on the outside and say, is what I'm saying here or what I'm going for checking in with you? You got to choose the right people. So just be careful. Don't outsource your spiritual power, your mental power, your power to think, but find some balance when you find people that will help validate your worldview. All right. The fourth group of worms that are a problem for society, weak people that are going to go away soon, are the victims, and they kind of excuse me, they kind of fit into the pansy group. They kind of fit into that pansy group, but victims are special because victims are people that go through the world with trauma, with pain, and they had all these bad experiences, and then they go, they go into a relationship looking to be treated like shit, and then they get out of the relationship and go, that person was a narcissist, they took me, and they didn't love me, they didn't blah, 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 blah. Those are the victims, right? Or they're people that have a story. I was hurt in childhood. My daddy left me, or my daddy was a bad man. Okay, right? So these are victims. If you have a society full of victims, you have a weak society, and victims destroy society, and that's why in apex societies, they do not exist. Like, for instance, look at nature. The shark society is an apex society. You can call it because sharks are apex predators in the sea, right? And so if a shark gets injured, the shark won't go around and like limp along in the ocean. They're not limping. They won't swim in a different way. They'll keep swimming as if nothing happened. Because any sign of weakness, the other sharks will eat that shark and kill them. Same with large cats. Like cats, you'll notice if a cat's injured, it'll just disappear for a while. They won't be visible. They will make sure that they give themselves better, and they'll come back to the cat society, wherever that is, lions, whatever, right? And so weak people, like the weak worms, the victim types, what they do is they wear their pain, they wear their vulnerability like a badge of honor. It's like, I'm a victim. Look at what happened to me. My people were oppressed. We were slaves. They enslaved us. They treated us bad. We are victims, okay? Those are weak people, and they are what destroy apex societies, and they prevent humanity from moving forward, but they are going away. Remove that from your identity, and you will move forward into society, into the future as a strong person. Not just as a strong person, but as a powerful child of the Most High. You cannot be a child of the Most High, a son or daughter of God, and be any of these things. You cannot be a non-thinker. You cannot be a pansy. You cannot be an outsourcer. You cannot be a victim. And that gets us down to our fifth weak worm person, and these are the fakers. These are the people that law of attraction, fake it till you make it. I believe, I believe, I believe, I have hope. These people, the fakers. I'm a millionaire. No, you're not. Well, how much money you got in your bank account? 0? Okay, shut the fuck up. Right? And look, I've been there, I've done that. Okay. And I even did that on the video yesterday. Someone asked, where do I live? And I was like, I got houses all over the world. And that's faking. Okay. And that's a weak trait. And if it happens, you know, forgive yourself, move on. I've forgiven myself and moved on. But fakers are people that take on a persona and they never activate that apex self within them. All of us have this powerful, eternal, infinite flow of power that we have access to. And when you're faking, this powerful part of you is deep down, deep down. When you're faking, you're living on the surface. You're getting your power from the surface level of reality. You've got to go deep and get to that deeper, more powerful self. And the fakers never do that. They stay up here. So this is the law of attraction people. This is the manifestation people that believe, and still go to a 9-to-5 job. You know, they don't put works behind their faith. All right. So those are fakers. And I've done it. And, you know, hey, look, we've all done it. Don't beat yourself up. You just realize that, okay, yeah, I was faking. How can I tap into real power? Because authentic power is the stuff that stays. Like gold is real money, but dollars and cents don't matter. That's why gold, you can take gold to any culture and they'll accept it. You can take $1 to only so many cultures. You can only take $1 to cultures that accept it. That's why American money is better than, like, I don't know, Venezuelan money, right? Because you can't take Venezuelan money to, you know, 80 different countries and it'll work. You can take American dollars there, right? And it'll work. Now that's going to change because that's just the way things go. But what I'm saying is you got to aim for the authentic, and people that fake it till you make it, pretend until the end, these people, they're superficial people, they're weak people, they're worms, and they won't make it because it's about to get real. All right. And then the sixth group of people are the followers. These are people that are easily led. Okay. These are people that they go to a job and they're new. And then, you know, the coworkers say, oh, don't talk to Bob over there. Bob's an asshole. He's a dumbass. He's a piece of shit. And then they just accept it. This is a type of non-thinker, right? And I never did this. This is one thing I never did. I'm proud of myself for never doing this. I remember going to a job and they said, oh, this one nurse, her name is Lisa. She's a bitch. She's a total fucking bitch. That's what everybody said. And I was like, okay, first of all, she's really attractive blonde. But everybody's like, oh, she's a hoe. She's not a hoe, but like she's just a mean, bitchy woman. I was like, okay, whatever. Okay, that's what everybody's saying, but people full of shit. And I didn't get that vibe from her. I thought she was a cool person. She never was mean to me. I worked at that place for like 4 years. She never treated me bad. She was always respectful. She was good at what she did. The truth is, these fat, ugly, stupid women around her didn't like her because she was hot, she was smart, she knew what the fuck she was doing, and she didn't take shit from the doctors. She didn't take shit from the doctors. And from the physician, from the surgeons we were working with. And yeah, and they didn't like that about her. She was good at what she did. She was hot, and she was good at what she did. And she was older too and looked amazing. Like she was like 20 years older than me. She looked amazing. She was gorgeous. Anyway, so followers will go into that situation like, yeah, Lisa's a bitch. They've never met Lisa. They never talked to Lisa. Followers don't think for themselves. They're easily led. They're groupies, and they are bandwagoners. So if everybody at work gangs up on somebody and calls this person's bad, don't hang out with them or whatever. The following worm, the stupid low brain followers, they will just go and say, okay, well, we're not gonna hang out with Bob anymore. We're gonna treat Lisa like she's a bitch. We're gonna make up stories about these people, that bad stories about them. And so these are other group of trash people. And if you do that, again, don't judge yourself for it. You are made of something better than that. Do yourself a respectful honor and stop being a follower. It's okay to go with the group if the group is right, but you got to determine that. You have to like use your brain and say, okay, well, let me think. Use your big forehead brain like me. And then go, well, okay, people typically lie. It's like the whole Me Too movement. There was a lot of that was real, but a lot of it was bullshit. A lot of it was fucking bullshit. Okay? So you've got to like tap into your deeper, more powerful self and let that lead you. And by the way, it's not hard because all you have to do is think. Like, and again, thinking is not hard. It's not actually hard. The hard part is having the courage to stick by what is true for you. That's where the challenge comes. It's like You know that you need to go right. You need to turn right. Everybody's going left. And you know in your spirit, you need to turn right. Because left is a cliff. Everybody's going to fall off a cliff. But you don't have the courage to say, no, I'm going to take a right. Well, guess what? Those are the people that become leaders. When everybody's going left and they're going to the edge of a cliff and they're all going to die, and you turn right, a couple of people are going to be like, I had that feeling too. And they're going to follow you. And now you become the leader. Now you will become the one in charge. And you go right. And you go to life and beauty and power and prosperity and purpose and all the stuff God has for us. And then all the idiots fall off the cliff and they get removed from society, which is supposed to happen. It's a good thing. And you and the intelligent people with you go to create a better world. Okay. So that was the sixth group, the followers, the following worms. And then the final group, which James brought up earlier, which is a really good point, Maxwell James brought up earlier, are the druggies. And again, druggies are a lot. I'm not talking about just people that do drugs. Okay, they are druggies too. But really, druggies are the opium, the people that are addicted to the opium of the masses, which is religion and politics and whatever the societal zeitgeist is. They're addicted to it. So they're just like, oh, what's everybody else doing? Let me go do that. And again, these are like followers, but druggies are different. Druggies derive pleasure from self-torment. They derive pleasure from it. They get a high, and then the high that they reach is matched by the low, and then they go to the drug to get the high because they know they're going to fall all the way down right afterwards. Like, again, I've had, when I was growing up, I grew up Seventh-day Adventist. There was no drug use or anything like that in my family. And there were people in the external, like you say peripheral family members, like second, third cousins that we knew of that had done drugs. And I remember my mom telling me about an uncle or a cousin uncle, like somebody third uncle, whatever, some distant relative she actually knew and met when she was a child, who was on, I think, cocaine or heroin, one of the bad drugs, right? All drugs to me, if you're addicted to them and it's taken away from your divine path, is a bad drug. But even mushrooms can be bad. But so she was like, yeah, he was on heroin, and then like one day, or cocaine, or one of those bad drugs, right? The ones you put in your body, the nasty ones, like the ones you put in your nose or in your veins, like this disgusting stuff. And one day he just was like, yeah, I'm done. And he never did it again. He just decided he was done. And he lived a long life after that. He lived a long, happy life. He had kids, went on. Like, he just decided he was done. Like cold turkey, you've heard of it. Cold turkey exists, right? There are people that they do drugs for a long time, heroin, coke, fentanyl, whatever the stupid thing. You don't do heroin. You don't do fentanyl these days for long. Back in the day, you could do heroin with fentanyl. You do fentanyl too long now, you're dead. But anyway, he did this, and he just decided he was done, and he just was done. Pornography is the same way. Like, I've known of people, and even in my past, there were times when I looked at pornography habitually, and then I was just like, yeah, I don't want to look at this anymore, and I just done, and just didn't look at it for years. I had access to it. I could have looked at it. I was not in a committed relationship. Not like I needed to not look at it and hide it. I just was like, I'm done. So you have the power. Everybody has that power within them. Everybody has that power within them. All right. And then you got all those people that say, oh, the druggies, they have a genetic condition that causes them to, but fucking bullshit. Look up the work of a guy named Dr. Carl Hart, H-A-R-T, Carl Hart. He's a doctor. He's a neuroscientist, neuroscientist. He's been on Joe Rogan multiple times. But he talks about the actual studies of drug addiction and how it impacts the brain. And I'm pretty sure he's got publications out about it. He's a neurologist and neuroscientist. So, but he has some really cool studies on that. Now, I've looked at him recently. I'm like, I think he's getting high on his supply. I don't know. But yeah, either he's working really hard and his speech is slurred. I don't know. But anyway, there are studies out there. And his are not the only studies. I've read other studies that demonstrate that drug addiction is really more of a social construct than it is a biological reality. It's not as much a biological reality. So those are the 7 groups of worms that exist within society. And apex societies do not have these kinds of people. They just get rid of them. And the way they get rid of them is not allowing them to exist. And so when you start to demonstrate those kind of qualities, you are chastised by society. and you are forced to stop demonstrating those things. Like, for instance, non-thinkers, you get rid of those in high school. What you do is in ninth grade, you expose these kids to all kinds of initiation experiences for females and males, and you really get rid of that kind of thing. You force people. Unfortunately, it is a forcing thing, but ideal apex societies actually did this. By the time you reached high school, you were a fully functioning adult. By the time you were 13 or 14, that's where the bar mitzvah and bat mitzvah came from, circumcision rites and initiation practices. You would expose children to such torment that it forced them to let go of the non-thinking aspects. And then the non-thinkers, the weak children just died in the initiation process. We don't have to do that today. I'm not saying we should do that. But that's what they did in ancient societies, and that's how you had Egyptian societies and things like that. They literally would put children in an underground maze, and they had to hold their breath for so many minutes. And these mazes were filled with alligators. I mean, now crocodiles. And, look, if you were a victim, or if you were an outsourcer or a pansy or a faker, I can do it. Guess what? The alligators had a meal that day, and you were the meal. So there was no room for weak, stupid people in society. Worms did not exist in apex societies. And by the way, if they did, they were in a very small number. So, yeah, like I said, the stupid worms, the non-thinkers are the first ones, the pansies, second, outsourcers are third, victims are fourth, fakers are fifth, followers are sixth, and then the druggies are the seventh. And drugs, by the way, are not just what you put in your body. It's also if you go to church and you just get high off what the pastor says, but you don't apply the word of God. It's also if you get high off of drama, watching TV and drama. That's it as well. All right. All right. Thank you, Stacy Curtis. Blessings to you as well. All right. Yeah. All right. So, why this matters? Why does it matter that the pansies, the weak people, the idiots, the weak worms of society get removed? First of all, if you are exhibiting these traits, you can remove one worm from society by just not exhibiting them anymore. Stop exhibiting those traits. You tap into the power, the apex self that is within you, and guess what? You just got rid of one worm. That's one. The most important worm to get rid of in your life is the worm that you see in the mirror. Okay, I have been that worm. Trust me. And there are times when I go into the worm state, but I every day get better and better and better and better at it. My life right now is challenging me to overcome that worm state, and I am succeeding. And I can say that authentically. All right. But why does it matter that we get rid of all the worms in society? Because this leads to harmony with natural law. If everything were to fall apart today, like everything, the electricity would all shut off, all the grocery stores went to shit, all the food went rotten, how many people would survive that? People that can't think for themselves, pansies that follow the group and all that, they're going to survive for a couple of months off of that. But after a while, they're going to be hamburger number 27. They're going to be hamburger number 28. Literally. Like, they will be the food for the people who are powerful and are thinkers. Right? I mean, that's disgusting. Cannibalism is a savage trait. It's disgusting. But you get what I'm saying. They will be the cannon fodder. They will be sent to the front lines, killed off, and just, and then at the end of the war, when all of the frontline people are killed off, the people who are in the back, the generals and the marshals, and all, they're going to sit down peacefully over a big spread meal and laugh over how they won and lost the war. That's how it happens. Like, they send you to war to die, and then they go to Epstein Island or they go to the Seychelles or whatever, and they all sit down and talk about the bombs they're dropping on you and your children. Israel and Palestine are the only people in Israel and Palestine that are in war are the people on the ground. I'm not saying that this is, I think they sincerely hate each other, but I think behind the scenes, people like Netanyahu and the leaders of Hamas, they probably meet up behind scenes and have peaceful conversations about what happens next. I mean, I think they're savage, all of them dropping bombs on each other. It's stupid. But, I mean, if you really want to know, like, watch World War II. All the leaders of World War II, what did they do? The leaders, they went and met together in London or in New York, wherever they met, and they sat and talked together. They didn't shoot each other like the children on the ground were, the young people on the ground, my grandfather's generation, stuff like that, So you've got to get out of that. So remove yourself from that. When we remove the stupid people from society, you can't have these stupid global wars. You start to create a civilized society. I mean, no such thing as homelessness, no such thing as poverty, no such thing as deprivation or starvation, or all these things, right? Everyone has a place in society and everyone's place is valued. They're not all valued the same. Like, you're not going to value a physician the same as you value a street sweeper, but they all have intrinsic value to society. Obviously, a physician is going to have precedence because of the lives that they have, but physicians are going to be obsolete soon because AI and quantum computing are going to come together, and you won't need doctors anymore. You won't even need surgeons, and that's like 5 to 10 years down the line. Yeah, 5 to 8 years, really. Anyway, so also the reason that society needs to rid itself of worms, and you need to rid your life of the worm that is in you, is that you are a powerful child of the Most High. You're a child of God. And being a child of God, you are the most powerful thing in this world. So if you align with the worm mindset, become a weak worm, a stupid worm, then you're dishonoring God's creation, which is you. And so that means, okay, I have this idea in myself. I love my life. Let me just keep throwing it away and doing what everybody else tells me to do. No, you need to go and bring into the world that gift that God has put in you and do it in whatever way feels best for you. God will show you the way. Okay, so I'm going to make it really clear. I'm going to close out here, make it really clear, because the thing that the Third Reich and the Spartans and other societies, the Egyptians, what they got wrong about weak people is they misidentified weak people. They thought that weak people were women, disabled people, ethnic minorities, children, cognitively impaired or mentally impaired people, emotionally damaged people, and injured people. And this is where the Third Reich and the Soviets and others really did a terrible job. Even Mao Zedong did the same thing, as they killed off people that could have been contributors to society. In Mao's revolution, he got rid of a lot of the intellectuals. And a lot of intellectuals, unfortunately, are not the most physically fit people in the world, let's be honest. But the idea that women, the disabled, gays, all these groups of people were considered inferior. They were considered whatever. And so women were put in a lower status. Children were, children are children. So they're always going to be, at the end of, they're always going to be downhill of whatever. But the disabled were targeted, gays were targeted, ethnic minorities in whatever societies were targeted. And these are not the weak in society. It's not your ethnicity or your age or your sex that determines, or your sexual orientation that determines your weakness at all. That has nothing to do with weakness, okay? Now, if you are straight and because everybody else is gay and you want to be progressive and now you're pretending that you're gay, that's weakness, okay? But if you're gay and you're genuinely, naturally, authentically gay, has nothing, that does, you can be a child of the Most High, a perfect person, and there's no weakness there, okay? So let's make that very clear, all right? And so where the Third Reich messed up, and Spartans and others, is that the Spartans were okay with you being gay. But what I'm saying is they did a poor job of identifying weak people and strong people. And they did it based on external characteristics, which are a little bit harder to change, like your skin color or your ethnic, whatever. So just keep that in mind. Being a woman does not make you weak. Being disabled doesn't make you weak. Being from a different ethnic group or a minority does not make you weak. How you utilize those characteristics is what makes you weak. If you don't think for yourself, if you allow groupthink to determine how you live, if you are a victim all the time, those are the things that make you weak. So let's make that very clear. All right, so anyway, thank you so much for watching, subscribing, liking, and all that great stuff. To say Catherine Romero said that today is her birthday. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I'm going to get out of here because I got to get things done. All right. Be blessed. Stay strong. Be the best person you can be. All right. Yeah, blessings, 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 blessings.